Welcome everyone. I'm glad you could join me today. So this discussion is about some regulatory changes that are being, brought in from tomorrow in the industry as a whole, and how we at AssetPlus have, tackled the new regulations as well as any changes that may be applicable to you. So I hope my screen is visible to everybody. Abhishek, could you confirm?
Yeah, Manish.
Okay, great. So let's begin. So in October of 2021, SEBI had put out this circular titled Discontinuation of Usage of Pool Accounts for Transactions in Mutual Funds. So this circular was after certain incidents that happened in the industry where SEBI wanted to ensure that best practices are followed across the industry when handling clients' money. Right. So some of the highlights and impacts of the circular I've mentioned here. So firstly, in terms of payments, SEBI has completely banned any pooling of accounts, pooling of money from the client's account. So every single transaction needs to be ensured that it comes from the client's bank account only and directly goes to the mutual fund company. So they have authorized certain RBI regulated clearing houses to be able to carry this out. ICCL is one of them. And here, AssetPlus, since the beginning, we have never, as a platform, collected money in our bank accounts. We have always routed the money directly to ICCL on the platform. Hence, we have had no impact whatsoever in this case. The second thing is there are new guidelines on verifying the KYC of the customer as well as verifying the bank account details of the customer before allowing them to invest and transact. So here as well, the activation process that we follow for all your clients, the KYC check is always done before an account is activated. And even on the bank verification side, we do a penny drop to ensure that the account name matches with the investor. And the third set of changes are related to redemptions. So these are essentially outflow transactions, so redemptions as well as switches. Now, in many other platforms, what used to happen was the client would place a redemption. The money would first come to the broker, and then the broker would be sending it to the client. So this was very widely used in a lot of popular platforms as well. But since the way we have set up where all the redemptions are directly credited to the customer's bank account by the mutual fund company, we have had no impact there. But there is another element, which is two-factor authentication that has been brought in. So hence, for the first part of the presentation, I'll be talking a bit more about two-factor authentication. All right. So to put it very simply, two-factor authentication essentially means that at the time of placing a transaction, an SMS or email OTP needs to be provided by the client. So this ensures that the transaction is being placed by the end client only. Now, these are applicable on outflow transactions. So on AssetPlus, you have these kinds of transactions available, right? Redemption, switch, SWP, and STP. So in all of these, it will be applicable. And either the phone number or the email address that to which the OTP was sent needs to match with the folio details of the customer. So that is the regulation. Now in AssetPlus, I will now describe how what will the changes be for your clients as well as for you. So firstly, for your clients, there will be in the app, as of now, they could select any holding and click on the redeem or switch button and select the folio, enter the amount, and the order would be placed. But we have now added one additional step in between, which is simply an OTP dialog, where the OTP that is sent to their SMS or email needs to be provided. And once they provide the OTP and the OTP matches, the order is placed. So just one additional dialog that comes in the user workflow. So this is on both client website as well as the client app. Now coming to changes for you, as many of you might have already gone through this workflow, we have an approval process for all transactions on AssetPlus, including redemption, switches, STP, and SWP. So any transaction that you initiate gets added to a pending column, and when you send the link, approval link to the client, it is sent only to the SMS, only to the phone number and email of the end customer. This ensures that two-factor authentication is done. So for you, there will be no changes. The workflow is as it is. you will place a redemption switch, STP or SWP from your dashboard. You will select the folio amounts and all of these, and you will initiate the sending of the approval link. Client will receive it on both email and SMS. When they click the link in the email or SMS, they'll get a dialog which will mention the details of the transaction as to what kind of transaction it is, which scheme to which scheme, what amount, what folio number. And once the client clicks on the approve button, then the transaction is placed. So this is it about two-factor authentication. So just to quickly summarize, for your clients, there will be one additional OTP step. For you, there will be no changes. So next, we also wanted to talk about the scan mandates. So you would have received an email from us a few days back talking about the physical copy of scan mandates. So to give a bit of background there, in the discontinuation of pool account usage circular that SEBI had put out, they had also mentioned that all mandates that are being created need to be in favor of SEBI recognized clearing corporations only. And in AssetPlus, all the mandates that are generated post April have already been in favor of ICCL. But as an additional audit, what NPCI has asked is that physical copies of these scan mandates need to be maintained. So the current process was that you would print out the mandate, the client would sign on the mandate, you would take a photo of it and upload it in the system. Now, additionally, you also need to maintain that physical copy with you. And since it has been initial notice, the process that we are going to follow will be that as per NPCI's audit process, from time to time, AssetPlus will run a collection drive where we will collect all the mandates from you. So this is the process. There's no other major change as of now. I want to highlight here that this change does not have any impact on mandate approval timelines. So it's not that only when the physical copy is received will the mandate be processed. The existing process of mandate approval, as it was happening with the scan mandate, will continue to happen. Additionally, I would also like to mention that it's better to nowadays prefer using the net banking and debit card OTM. It's very convenient for your clients as well as for you. There are no printouts required, no signing or scanning also required. And net banking mandate limits have also been increased substantially. It's to 10 lakhs for many of the banks at the moment. And so this was the change about scan mandates. So post this call, I would also be sharing this presentation along with a link to the SEBI circular. So this is the SEBI circular, which talks about the discontinuation of usage of pool accounts. It was initially to be applicable from April 1, but they had extended the deadline to July 1. So this will be applicable from tomorrow. So I'll be sharing this link. And additionally, as I was mentioning about the net banking mandates, now many of the banks have started supporting net banking mandates. So that list is also available on NPCI's website. So I'll be sharing this link as well post the call. So that concludes the presentation from my end. I think we can start discussing any questions you may have.
Mr. Avni, good evening. This is Khadir here. I had a question. So regarding the paper mandate where you said that you have to maintain physical copies of the same. So what about the physical mandates which we do not have with us prior to this information? That's question number one. And question number two is that some of these mandates are something which the client uploads themselves, and they might not be in the same city or same state that we reside in. So that is kind of a manual process for us to request the client to send the paper mandate once it's uploaded and maintain the record of it before you guys start the collection drive. So I mean, these are just my first thoughts on it.
Sure. Thank you for your question. You have asked a very important point. So the rule is applicable from 1st July. So mandates that are being submitted from tomorrow onwards need to be maintained. Physical copies of them need to be maintained. It's not applicable for mandates generated before 1st of July. And the second question that you had asked about the clients being in different locations, we understand that in many of our partners' cases, since it's an online platform, you are able to get clients from multiple locations. So what we would be doing is, when this collection drive starts, we will provide ample time for you to be able to maybe run this drive internally with your clients. And in this case, you can ensure that your client maintains the physical copy of the scan mandate, so that whenever it is required, we can process the collection drive. We'll provide we'll provide a detailed timeline for it whenever this is required.
Sure, thank you.
Thanks, Kavit.
Yeah, partners, if you have any questions, you can just unmute yourself or maybe ask the question in the chat box regarding these two topics.
Hi, Avnish. Shubham this side.
Hi, Shubham.
Yeah. So I just have a query regarding the booster STP. So since booster STP is an automated process, is it like every time it calls for a, so ICICI booster STP I'm talking about. So every time whenever it calls for a withdraw and switch to a different fund, whether it will require two-factor OTP every time, or since it's an automated process, it doesn't require that OTP.
So booster STP at the moment is provided by the AMCs directly. So the process for it is decided by the AMCs directly. Now there is no circular as such about the two-factor authentication on it. On AssetPlus, the process that we follow is we use the normal exchange STP and SWP. So the special products are not included in this.
Got it. So for the normal STPs and all those stuff, we don't need 2FA as of now, right?
So only at the time of registering the STP or SWP, 2FA is required, not for the subsequent transactions.
Got it. Yeah, thank you.
So one of our partner, Vijay, has a question in chat box. He says, once we send the mandate to AssetPlus, will the partner get any confirmation on receipt of the same?
Yes. So at our end, we would be maintaining the records of these mandates and updating it, so that you would also be informed that the mandate has been successfully received by us. The details of this will be shared over time.
Okay. Are there any other questions regarding this? We can take a few more questions.
Yeah, I could see one more question from Mr. Ravi Kumar. Is it necessary for online mandate done by? No, so this is required only for the paper mandates. For online mandates, there is no such physical copy or anything required. There's no change at all.
So, hi, this is Harmit. Just wanted to understand that in case sorry, I joined a little bit late. But then, as per new guidelines, where earlier we used to send a photo of a paper mandate to respective people. Instead, now we have to send a physical form to Chennai.
Yes, so sure, Arnath. The process that has been so the circular from NPCI says that we need to maintain the physical copies of all scan mandates as well. So until now, maybe after the uploading of scan mandates, maybe the physical copy was being discarded. But from now on, those need to be maintained. But this the approval timelines and everything is not contingent on the physical copies being received. So the timelines will remain as it is. From the scan mandate itself, the entire process will continue. As and when the NPCI audit process happens, AssetPlus will be running a collection drive with all partners, where we will get all these mandates collected from you. So from your end, you just need to ensure that the physical copies of these mandates generated after July 1 are
maintained. So it has to be maintained at our place, and then AssetPlus would ask for the physical copy later on, right?
Yes, and that can happen at any time, and that we will be informing a few weeks in advance, so that you can put in your. Sorry, I'm not. Okay.
Do any of the partners have any questions regarding this?
So hello.
Yeah.
Hello, hi sir. This is Bomu sir. Good evening, sir. Sir, very sorry I joined late. I was on the call. So we have to just maintain the copies in the file, and then as and when you all ask it, we have to send it back to the Chennai, right?
Correct.
Fine, sir.
That's correct. So right now, the mandate approval timelines will not be impacted by this at all. So the moment you upload the scan mandate, approval process will start with BSE and the banks and everything. But for audit purposes, at any point of time, you might be required to collect the physical copies from you.
Okay, fine, done, sir.
Hi, Avnish,
So
Vijay.
I could see. Yeah,
Vijay,
hi. Good evening,
Vijay here. So just a doubt. So for existing clients also, do we have to collect and keep it so that when the audit comes, do we have to produce that?
Correct. So the notification is applicable from July 1st. So any new mandates that are uploaded after July 1st, they need to be maintained.
Yeah, only after July 1st, right?
Yes, correct. I could see some more questions in the chat. So Mr. Rajesh had asked if can we record color print of the mandate? No. So here we need to have the original copy where the client has made the wet signature. So you just need to maintain the original one. BSE has asked to stop their STPs and initiate AMC STPs. The circular from them. So we have already moved all new STPs to AMC STPs since April. So you would not have an impact for the STPs that are running. Okay, a session in Hindi. Sure, we will get a session in Hindi also arranged for similar future sessions. List of yes, we'll also be sharing the SEBI circular as well as the list of net banking and debit card mandate banks, which are live with net banking and debit card mandates after the call.
Yeah, I think most of the doubts and questions have been cleared. So I think we can close the session now. Thank you, Avnish. Thank you, partners, for joining. And if you have any further queries, please feel free to contact the respective RMs. So they might be helping you out in this. Thank you. Thank you, Avnish.
Yeah. Thanks, Abhishek. Thank you, everyone, for joining.
Mutual fund investments are subject to market risks. Read all scheme-related documents carefully.